For the past month, I have challenged myself to leave school every single day at the end of my contract hours, something I have never done in my 6 years of teaching, and in today's video, I'm gonna tell you all about how it went. For those of you that don't know me, hi, my name is Michelle Ferré, and I am a 4th grade teacher in Maryland. Back in December, I decided I wanted to try something new this year. I've set New Year's resolutions in the past and usually didn't stick to them, but this year I wanted to be able to try new things without having to commit to them for a full year. That is when the Teacher Monthly Challenge was born. I had this idea of trying out different things for a month's time, and at the end of that month, if I want to continue with it, I can. If I want to scrap it, I can also do that. For the month of January, I decided to challenge myself to leave school every single day at the end of my contract hours. I have always stayed at school pretty late working, and by pretty late, I mean 7, sometimes even 8 p.m. And I really wanted to try to challenge myself to leave early and just see how it affected me. It is day 1 of my January challenge to leave school every day by the end of my contract hours. Now, it was also the first day after winter break, and I had no planning time today because Thursday is my long day and I have no planning. So I was a little apprehensive going into today. Wasn't sure if I was going to be able to make it and get it done, but I got to my car right at 4:15, which is my goal. It's now 4:20. I'm already at the gym. I'm gonna change clothes, go in. Billy's meeting me here. We're gonna get our workout done, and I'm excited because typically we used to meet at the gym between 6 and 6:30, which meant we weren't getting home until 8 or 8:30. So this will be a nice change of pace. Honestly, at the end of the day, I didn't feel stressed out. Are there things I didn't get to? Absolutely. However, I can get to them tomorrow. I'm not really feeling the pressure. I know that it's fine. I got the things that I needed to get done, and that's good enough for me. Let's start with the rules of the challenge. Now, by rules, I really mean just guidelines that I gave myself. I decided to force myself to leave every single school day for the month of January by 4:15 p.m. My school hours end at 4:10, so that is the end of our dismissal. By then, the students have all peaced out and the teachers are able to peace out as well. But I did want to build in 5 minutes of buffer time because if dismissal ran a little bit long and I was just saying goodbye to my last student at 4:10, it would give me enough time to walk back to my classroom and then leave. Next, let's talk about my expectations going into this challenge. Honestly, I didn't know if I was going to be able to stick with it for a full month because I am so used to staying late. I just figured things would come up or I would find excuses to stay at school late. I also thought I was going to end up feeling super overwhelmed. One of the reasons I would always stay late at school is because that was a time for me to get things done, to check the boxes off of my to-do list. And I thought if I left early, I was going to end up feeling super overwhelmed and just feel like I was drowning in my to-do list. The good news is I was able to stick to it for the entire month of January, and honestly, I'm pretty proud of myself for that. Let me start by talking about the benefits. These are the good things that for me came out of leaving early. First of all, it allowed me to go to the gym earlier. When I used to stay at school until 7 p.m., I would then go to the gym at 7 p.m. and I typically spend about an hour and a half at the gym each night, which meant I wasn't getting home until close to 9 o'clock, and that was just insanely late. So I definitely enjoyed being able to get to the gym and then get home much earlier. Because it's a Friday and Billy and I are taking a rest day from the gym, I was able to be home by about 4:35, which I literally do not remember the last time I was home this early on a Friday. It feels phenomenal. Billy and I are gonna have a little date night tonight. We're gonna go out to dinner, so I'm feeling really good. Now, do I have everything ready to go for next week? Not quite, but I actually don't feel stressed about it. I feel better because I'm home and I have the whole night ahead of me to relax. That right now feels more important than those few things that I did not get done. so I'm feeling pretty good. Another benefit is that I learned not to stress out when things don't get done. I've always been obsessed with clearing my to-do list and getting the things done, but the reality is you're gonna have a to-do list until you die, and you're always gonna have more to do. So I found that leaving earlier taught me not to stress about not having everything done because I could do it the next day. There was always more time to get it done. The next benefit is that I learned how to maximize my planning time and be as efficient as possible when I was at school. I'll be honest, I used to waste some of my planning time by talking to coworkers or just fiddling around doing things that really were not a priority. So this challenge forced me to stay 100% focused during my planning time so that I could leave on time at the end of the day. I also learned how to fit in really small tasks into just little chunks of time that I had throughout the day. I started getting my students to help me out more with things, and that allowed me to be able to leave on time and not take a ton of work home. In fact, throughout this challenge, the amount of work I was doing at home was the same as the amount of work I was doing before this challenge at home. I was expecting to have to take home so much more work and feel swamped when I got home, but actually the opposite happened. There were some days when I would come home and I was like, what am I supposed to do? I don't have anything to work on. And that was a really good feeling because I haven't experienced that very often. But again, that is attributed to how productive I was during the day and how I was maximizing every single minute that I had in the classroom. Now let's talk about the challenges that I faced. One of the very first things that happened that was not so fun is I forgot to take home some of the materials I needed for the weekend to be able to plan. The reason I am having to leave so early is because on Friday, when I left from school by 4:15, I forgot to bring home my students' guided reading books, and I just picked out the books on Friday, so I was planning on planning out the first week of guided reading over the weekend, and I didn't. And I typically give my students a reading calendar on Monday that tells them all of the pages to read throughout the week, and it gives them a thinking job for each day. But I couldn't do it because I forgot the books. So good thing and bad thing about leaving early. Yes, I had a great Friday night. I had a great date night, but now I'm kind of paying for it because I have to get to school early. So I'm gonna try to be better at the end of the day of making sure I have whatever it is that I need. I was so used to being able to stay at school late, and as I would stay late, I would think of all the different things I needed to take home, so I rarely forgot things. But when I started leaving early, I suddenly realized I was forgetting things because I felt so rushed trying to leave by 4:15 that I did not always gather all my thoughts and take everything home that I needed. But I did overcome this by creating a checklist, and throughout the day, if I thought of something I needed to take home, I would add it to the checklist along with my usual things that I would take home, such as my guided reading books on a Friday to be able to plan them over the weekend. Another challenge I faced was having this awkward amount of time from when I would leave school to when I would go to the gym. The first few days of the challenge, I was able to go to the gym immediately following school, which was phenomenal. But once Billy started a new job, I had to adjust a little bit because we wouldn't meet at the gym until 5:15 or 5:30 when he got off work. I am changing up my schedule just a little bit, and I wanted to share with you all why. Previously, I had told you that I would leave school around 4:15, drive home, I would relax or try to get something done for about 30 minutes, quickly change for the gym, and then drive back to the gym because my gym and school are like right by each other. Well, after doing some reflection, I decided that that is just wasting time because I spend about 15 to 20 minutes driving home and then another 15 to 20 minutes to come back to the gym. So instead, starting today, I am going to go sit at a coffee shop, probably Starbucks because we don't really have any locally owned coffee shops, and I'm going to get some work done. That way I can save myself about 15 to 20 minutes that I was spending commuting in the car. So I think that will work better. I brought a gym bag so I can just go straight to the gym when I'm done and change. I think I'm gonna like this a lot better. So then I started adjusting and I would go to Starbucks to work, and that was great, but then I was forgetting to bring my laptop with me, and ultimately I just felt like it was such a weird amount of time where it wasn't enough time to do a whole lot, like leaving school But at the same time, like, I didn't know what to do at that time, to be honest. Another challenge is that I did feel rushed on some days when I was leaving school. There were certain days where things would happen right as I was leaving. Maybe someone stopped me in the hall to ask me a question, and I was like trying to like talk to them as I was slowly walking out the door. I got caught up talking to coworkers at dismissal time, which I will say is one of the biggest time-sucking hurdles. Those of you who watch Bridget and I's podcast, Teaching to the Top, we use that phrase to describe those things that really kill our productivity. And I would say above anything else, when you are at school, guarantee you time-sucking hurdle is talking to your coworkers. Now, that's not to say you can never talk to them. You definitely need time to be able to socialize and be able to get things off of your chest and be able to collaborate, but just be careful and make sure that it's not getting away from you and eating into your ability to be productive. But I was able to cut myself off. I had to power walk to my room and power walk out the door, but I did make it to my car by 4:15. I had this promise where I had to leave by 4:15, where if I wasn't doing this challenge, there were some days where I may have stayed an extra 15 or 20 minutes, and I would have probably felt a lot better and not as stressed. And finally, school events made this challenging because I did have one day where I had committed to do something, and so I left school and then had to go back to school to be able to fulfill that commitment. Today is kind of a weird day. Here's why. Technically, I am leaving by 4:15. It is 4:14 and I am sitting in my car. However, I am judging the geography bee that is taking place tonight at school from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. This is something I volunteered to do back in like November. So at that time, I didn't know I was going to be doing this challenge. So I am leaving school. I'm going to go get myself like a snack, maybe a coffee, and then I'm going to come back to school. So I am technically still leaving every day by my contract hours. I just have to come back to judge this geography bee, but it's okay. I'm making it work. Next, let's talk about the biggest changes I personally experienced throughout this challenge. First of all, I had a huge mindset shift. My thinking of how I view leaving early completely changed for the better. One of the biggest mindset shifts that I've had to make during this challenge is reworking the way that I view leaving early, because for so many years, I have thought that not necessarily that it made me a better teacher that I stayed later, but I felt like I was working harder because I stayed later. And I've really had to shift my mindset to realize, you know what? I'm leaving early, but I'm actually working harder because I am being more productive and more efficient throughout the day so that I can leave on time. In addition, my productivity skyrocketed. I think I was the most productive I've ever been this month, at least during that time at school. I can't say when I got home, I was always super productive, but it really taught me how to maximize my planning time and prioritize the tasks that I was doing to make sure that the essentials got done while I was at school, and anything I did at home was just extra. It is the last day of my monthly challenge. I left school right at 4:13, a good little way to wrap it up, and I'm feeling a couple of different things. Primarily, I'm feeling proud of myself for sticking to this because going into it, I didn't think I could do it. I've always stayed late at school, and I honestly didn't think it would be possible for me to leave on time every day for a month. However, I'm also feeling happy that it's over, only because there were days where I would have liked to have stayed just a little bit longer to get a couple of extra things done. However, moving forward, definitely gonna continue to leave earlier, but now let's talk about moving forward. You're probably wondering, Michelle, are you gonna continue this challenge? Are you still gonna leave school early? Here's my thoughts. I definitely think moving forward, I'm going to leave earlier than I used to. I don't plan on having any late nights where I'm staying until 6:30, 7, 8 o'clock. However, I don't know if I'm going to continue to leave at 4:15 every day, and by I don't know, I really mean I'm not going to. But here's why. It's not because I felt overwhelmed. It's because that awkward time between the time I leave school and the time I meet Billy at the gym, I feel like I would be better just staying at school until about 5:15 and then going directly to the gym because it is on my way home. That way I'm not wasting time driving anywhere just to do work at a Starbucks. Like, it seems kind of pointless. I did it for the sake of the challenge to say I left school on time, but in reality I was leaving and just moving somewhere else to do work. So I think I'm going to stay at school until 5:15ish, and then go directly to the gym just because that works better for my schedule. Now I really want to know your thoughts. Are you enjoying these types of videos? Are you looking forward to future Teacher Monthly challenges? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this one, please give it a thumbs up, and I want you to join in with me. Obviously, this Teacher Monthly challenge is over for me, but you could totally do this same challenge in February. Or if you want to do the same challenge I'm doing in February, you can do that as well. For the entire month of February, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I'm going to be waking up every single day at 5 a.m. School days, days off from school, weekends, every single day in the month of February, I'm going to challenge myself to wake up at 5 a.m., which I have never really done because I'm not a morning person. I usually get up at 7 a.m. on school days, so wish me luck. If you're gonna join in that challenge with me, leave a comment down below. Tag me on Instagram with hashtag TeacherMonthlyChallenge. I would love to be able to cheer you on as you are challenging yourself. And as always, thank you for watching. I love you all so much. Don't forget to put your positive pants on, and I will catch you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of this video and for supporting my YouTube channel. If you want to check out any of my older videos, you can use the 2 links right down here. If you want to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any future videos, you can use the link right up here. The links to all of my social media sites, my Teachers Pay Teacher store, my merchandise store, and my Amazon store are in the description box, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.